All right, it's Luke again. We're doing a film breakdown of this short film that I produced last semester with a bunch of other students. This one's called 2020, and it's about this group of friends who's getting interviewed about why, what happened to their friend because their friend, they basically find out their friend gets murdered and they're getting questioned by this mystery interviewer guy. And the whole twist is the interviewer um, turns out to be the killer. So let's go scene by scene and let's do this.
You want me to sit here?
Please. Angelina, take one.
Okay, so I'm just going to give a little more backstory. So these three people are the friends who are getting questioned throughout the film. Um, so just keep in mind of that.
This is pointless. What makes you think this is even worth talking about?
Of course, Custer would say that. He doesn't understand the meaning of this documentary. Which, if I'm being honest, I'm a little confused as well.
Okay, I'm ready. I guess I should start from when we met. Jason was in my English literature class. We sat right next to one another, but of course you already knew that.
How could I forget?
He always has.
All right, so let's just stop there real quick. So what's unique about this film is that it's shot in documentary form, even though it's essentially a drama. So we see our three main characters, Custer, Selena, and Angelina, who are the friends of Jason. Um, and they're being questioned, and although it's a drama, and a lot of it, this is what happens, is a lot of the film takes place in this interview room, while we also see flashbacks of scenes of Jason and what happened in the past. Let's keep going.
Forget?
He always has a way of making everyone laugh. Had. Sorry. It's been a year and it still feels weird to say it like that.
Here.
Well, thank you. Okay, where was I? Jason. He was.
A narcissistic ass who would rather party his way through college than do any actual work.
Weren't you too close?
Okay, just go.
I was close with Ann.
All right, so right there was another distinctive aspect, which makes this short film different than a documentary, is because we hear the voice of the interviewer, which you wouldn't hear in a documentary. You would just hear the person getting interviewed just answering the question. And throughout the film, we have our editor was really good at these transitional lines from person to person.
Okay, where was I? Jason. He was.
A narcissistic ass.
Right there, it goes straight from her, and Selena finishes Angelina's line for her, and it's like this really smooth cut.
So would rather party his way through college than do any actual work.
Weren't you too close?
I was close with Angelina, which is why I always told her to her face that Jason was a narcissistic ass.
Look, buddy, I know you think.
And just something else to note, each of the friends have different perspectives on their friend Jason, which is important to the story.
Jason's story is worth exploring. I'm not gonna help you cash in on his death. Edit that part out.
Jason always cared about me.
right there we get a really funny shot of him saying, "I'm not going to cash out on his death," and then the interviewer um, hands out a $20 bill, and he just he takes the bribe. And we jump into this
Edit that part out.
Jason always cared about people.
flashback
He
of
never
the
hesitated.
friends playing poker together. The one in the plaid shirt is Jason, and the other guy is the interviewer, and then you can see the other three are
Help
sitting with
anyone
him.
out. I can't tell you how many times he'd spot someone money for food, books, anything. He is a good guy. Was sorry.
Suck it. Woo-wee. Yes, sir. How many classes did you have with him?
Too many to count? Custer, Jason, and I were majoring in accounting.
Okay, so right there, we see a flashback of, which is really important. So we kind of get, an idea of what Jason was like.
The three of us were planning on getting our masters together.
Selena wanted us to get our masters. I could care less.
Couldn't.
Couldn't what?
What do you remember about that night?
Jason wanted to have dinner. He'd been distant.
Okay, just before we get into this flashback, another kind of cool editing trick that our editor did was he basically had lines from the prior scene leak into the next scene, and it kind of like has this super smooth flow
Couldn't what?
What do you remember about that
right
night?
there. You see,
Jason wanted to have dinner. He'd been
here's another
distant for a few
flashback
days.
scene of because Angelina was dating Jason at the time before his death. So we kind of get a little bit of the backstory of what happened that night.
He was applying for his master's degree and wanted to make sure everything was perfect. Preston was saying that they even had an argument about it later that day.
And our
What's important about all these flashbacks is we get a close up or medium shot of the interviewer who just so happens to be by coincidence in the same place as our main characters. At the time, these characters just thought, they were this random guy. This one right here was just some ordinary guy, and he's actually the interviewer and / the killer.
argument.
You know how you get with his money? Especially if it was his. Said that people need to have honor and integrity, which I didn't have since he thought I paid someone to write my statement.
Did you?
What do you think?
Okay, let's just go back a little bit. We can see how Angelina and Jason had a relationship together, and then Custer and Jason kind of had this conflicting relationship that we talk a little bit more about here.
Said that people need to have honor and integrity, which I didn't have since he thought I paid someone to write my statement.
Did you?
What do you think?
And then right there was a really cool editing trick where it faded
Since he
in
thought I paid someone to write my statement.
to the next scene.
Did you?
What do you think?
Of course, Custer paid someone to write a statement. To this day, I'm not even sure how he graduated kindergarten.
Did you help?
And then we kind of get Selena's, sassiness, bleed into this next scene.
him?